Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Balaba Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Balaba Girivaradari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Asatara Satyashri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Shikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dhamma Ki Jai. Mathura Dhamma Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dhamma Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dhamma Ki Jai. Gangamaya Jamuna Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskatyade Satarane Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Vanchakapatubhischa Kibisnavyavatapti Chanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. January 18th, 2026, in New Goloka, Hillsborough, North Carolina. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 70 of Krishna's Daily Activities, Text 38. Tavehitam korhati sadhu veditum swamaya yedam srijato niyachata yad vidyamanat mataya abhasate tasmai namaste swavilakshanatmane. Please chant. Tavehitam korhati sadhu veditum swamaya yedam srijato niyachita yad vidyamanat mataya vabhasate tasmai namaste swavilakshanatmane. Tavehitam korhati sadaveditum swamaya yedam srijato niyachita yad vidyamanat mataya vibhasate tasmai namaste swavilakshanatmane. Tavehitam koritat aduveditam swamaya yedam srijato niyachitam yad vidyamanat vataya vabhatsate tasvai namaste swavilakshanatmane. Any of the ladies? Tavehitam korhati sadhu veditum swamaya yedam srijato niyachita yad vidyamanat mataya vabhasate tasmai namaste swavilakshanatmane. Tava, your, ihitam, purpose, kaha, who, arhati, is able, sadhu, properly, veditum, to understand, swa, by your own, mayaya, material energy, idam, this universe, srijata, who creates, niyachchataha, and withdraws, yat, which, vidyamana, to exist, atmataya, by relation to you, the Supersoul, avabhasate, appears, tasmai, to him, namaha, obeisances, te, to you, swa, by your own nature, vilakshana atmane, inconceivable. BBT translation, who can properly understand your purpose? So this is in response to Krishna telling him, Krishna tells Narada, you know everything. And so Narada is saying, nah. He says, who can properly understand your purpose? With your material energy, you expand and also withdraw this creation, which thus appears to have substantial existence, obeisances to you, whose transcendental position is inconceivable. So Narada Muni is responding, no, I really don't know everything. I can't possibly understand you. BBT purport. Srila Prabhupada explains Narada's realization as follows. My dear Lord, by your inconceivable potencies, you create this cosmic manifestation, maintain it, and again dissolve it. It is by dint of your inconceivable potency only that this material world, although a shadow representation of the spiritual world, appears to be factual. No one can understand what you plan to do in the future. So although sometimes it says that some devotees are Trikalaja, they can understand past, present, and future, nobody, not even Narada Muni, can fully understand what Krishna plans to do in the future. Going on, your transcendental position is always inconceivable to everyone. As far as I am concerned, I can simply offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. The word swa vilakshanatmane also indicates that Lord Krishna has his own unique nature and characteristics. No one is equal to God or greater than God. It's actually an interesting Sanskrit. Lakshana means characteristics. Vilakshana can mean odd characteristics, unknown characteristics, without characteristics, something strange about the characteristics. So swa vilakshana, your characteristics are unusual, they're unknown, they're inconceivable, they're not ordinary atmane of yourself. I'm going to read Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Narada said, moreover, who can understand the intention, ihitam, of you who sometimes create and sometimes destroy the universe, which gets its life from you residing within it as the Paramatma? Therefore, I offer my respects to you, whose unique nature and characteristics, swa vilakshanatmane, are completely inconceivable. Srila Sanatana Goswami's commentary. What is my purpose in using Maya? Krishna might ask. No one can understand this. Or this question is not only because of Maya, but without any purpose. It cannot be understood by anyone. No one can understand well, sadhu, your intention. Why, Krishna might ask? Narada might respond, because you create and destroy this world by your Maya. Creation and destruction themselves are a contradiction, and sometimes even the Maya has a real purpose. Therefore, I offer respects to your nature, which is completely different from everything else. Or, though your actions are seen by everyone through direct perception, vidyaman atmanat maya, who can understand them? Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary, and this is really, really nice. Although you desire to say that I have all knowledge by your question, what person like me, or even a great soul, can really understand your activities, since you either directly or indirectly create and control this whole universe, which was the topic of your question? Therefore, I offer respects only to you, who manifest this universe in a present form. And such a nice description he has here is, again, Srila Jiva Goswami, like a crystal marble shining in the palm of your hand. What a nice, just isn't that beautiful visualization, huh? You should not deny this statement, since you are completely different from me, swavilakshanatmane. Tavehi tam kor hati sadhu veditum, swamaya ye dam srijato nayachtita, yad vidyamanat mataya vabasate, tasmai namaste swavilakshanatmane. Who can properly understand your purpose? With your material energy, you expand and also withdraw this creation, which thus appears to have substantial existence. Obeisances to you, whose transcendental position is inconceivable. So this is an example of what's called Vishmaya or Adbhuta Rasa that Narada is experiencing here. You are wonderful, you are inconceivable, I can't understand your lakshana, your characteristics, so I just offer my obeisances to you. So this is a secondary rasa, a secondary staibha, Vishmaya and Adbhuta, which is explained in the Nectar Devotion, chapter 46. It's in the second wave of the northern ocean of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Srila Rupa Goswami explains it thus: when an unloved person performs extraordinary actions, it's not astonishing. But when a loved one performs actions even a little uncommon, they produce astonishment. In other words, in order to feel this astonishment, there has to be some love. And Srila Jiva Goswami writes a really interesting and important commentary that's very relevant to us as sadhaka devotees. He says, having said that Adbhuta Ras, this is the joy, the pleasure of wonder, will manifest completely only in relation to Krishna, the author establishes that all rasas possess some Vishmaya rati. So anytime one enjoys anything at all, and of course the science of rasa applies to material things as well, anytime we get any pleasure from anything, there has to be some wonder. There has to be some sense of astonishment. Does this make sense to everybody? Some wow. I like to call it the wow factor. There's some wow factor anytime we enjoy anything. And this is also true in relationship to Krishna. Mm-hmm. And Srila Jiva Goswami is quoting a verse from a work by Dharmadatta quoted in Sahita Darpana, the translation of which is, in rasa, the essence is said to be astonishment by the wise. Therefore, Adbhuta Rasa is said to be fully expressed in the Supreme Lord Narayan. Now, why this is important to us is because if we can cultivate this sense of wonder and astonishment at Krishna, it will help to deepen our relationship with him, which is the entire point of the Hare Krishna movement. That's why we're in this movement, to reawaken, to revitalize, to reestablish our relationship with him, and this pathway through wonder, because it pervades all the rasas, and as Srila Jiva Goswami is quoting, it's the essence of rasa. It's very helpful to us. So first I want to look at situations like in today's verse, where this rasa of wonder is expressed even by those who are great devotees and who so-called know everything. Like Krishna first said to Narada, you know everything. Even they feel wonder. Because you can think of, materially, if you really know everything about something, there's no more wonder in it, right? Or I already know all about that. I have nothing more to hear about that. But even someone like Narada, who's Sri Kalajaya, says, I'm still in wonder. I can't figure out what you're going to do. And then we're going to look at the examples given by Srila Rupa Goswami of the different ways of experiencing this astonishment, the different ways of experiencing this wonder. And then we can relate this to our own life, because Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, they're writing about this for us. Prabhupada writes about the nectar devotion as the science of bhakti yoga. So they're writing this so we can cultivate this. All right, let's look at some examples in the Shastra of those who express this wonder. And of course, we have the universal form in the Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna says to Krishna, you're inconceivable, beyond all material conception, very similar to what Narada is saying today. And he says, your energy is beyond the jurisdiction of thinking. It's beyond ordinary logic. And he offers, he says, obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. Because that's all you can do, right? In the face of the inconceivably wondrous, you can just go, all respects to you. And don't we even experience this again materially? Like you might see some amazing athlete do something, or anyone doing something amazing, and you're just, all you can just like, wow, all respects to you who can do that. What to speak of to see the universal form of the Lord. And then Queen Kunti also speaks like this. She says that the Lord is invisible to the material senses, adhokshaja. He's alakshyam, which is very much the same thing Narada Muni is saying here. Lakshana is your characteristics. He's saying vilakshana. You don't have ordinary characteristics. Just like Srila Rupa Goswami explains Krishna's personality in 4 different aspects that are contradictory to each other. Right? He says, well, you're Dhirodhata, you're the great hero. Like Lord Ramachandra is a hero, the lifter of Govardhan Hill, noble, always following Dharma. But then you're Dhirodhata. You're the bad boy. You're insulting the demons, and you're doing things that appear to be proud and appear to be envious, like your way of talking to Hiranyaksha as Varaha. And then you're Dhira Prasanta. You're the gentleman washing the feet of the participants in the Rajasuya Yagya seems to be opposite of the noble hero and the king. And then your dear Lalita, the fun-loving, joking resident of Vrindavan, playing games with the cowherd boys and games with the gopis, which again appears to be opposite. So this is in these lakshana, these characteristics, like it says in the Ishopanishad, he walks and he doesn't walk. He's far away and he's near. Right? Inside and outside everything. I often bring this example when we had the Gurukul out in Eflin, I guess that was like 1991. So we were teaching the children, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtinam matstani sanabhutani nachaham te suvasita. In my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded, all beings are in me, but I am not in them. So we were discussing this, and afterwards we had a break, and I heard a couple of the 6-year-olds talking, and they said, Mother Urmila doesn't understand Krishna conscious philosophy because she's saying that Krishna is not in everything. But I know that Krishna's in my heart. Krishna's in every atom. So this is how, as Krishna says, everything's in me. I'm not there. And yet Krishna is there. So this is, as Kunti is saying, alakshanam. You don't seem to have ordinary characteristics. You can't pin down Krishna's lakshanam. He's beyond the stage of limited sense perception, adhoksajam, covered by the curtain of diluting energy, which of course Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, that he's covered by his yoga maya, so people cannot understand him. She says, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes. And Kunti is again a pure devotee. In parental rasa, she's there in the Lord's pastimes, and she's saying no one can understand them. She said they appear human, but they're misleading. So then again, she offers her obeisances. Oh, Krishna, I offer obeisances to you. I repeatedly bow down to you. So this is the intelligent response to the inconceivable. We have Lord Brahma after he steals the boys and calves. And he becomes completely overwhelmed by this Vishmaya rasa. So overwhelmed, he starts having these sattvika bhavas where he becomes stunned and he faints, he just falls down, and he's just like, what is going on here? I can't understand. We're going to return to this in a little bit. I can't understand how each of these cowherd boys and each of these calves are all Vishnu, and not just Vishnu, each Vishnu is being worshipped by all living entities and all demigods. And I always like Sanatana Goswami's commentary on this, where he says that the Lord has unlimited qualities and there's unlimited jivas, and each jiva is attracted to a particular quality of the Lord. And then Lord Brahma, if you want to talk about someone who, quote unquote, knows everything, well, Lord Brahma would be in that category. It's explained sometimes that the universe is his own body. How can he not know everything? But still, he says, it is not possible to realize you by my body, mind, and speech. He says, I don't know, other people might say that they know everything about you, he said, but for me, I cannot understand you. And he just offers his obeisances. And of course, another place in the Bhagavatam, Narada Muni visits, right, we already talked about this, he's visiting all of Krishna's palaces, his 16,108 palaces, and he has the same kind of reaction. He says, I can't understand how you've expanded into 16,108 forms, all doing different things at the same time. And he says, I just offer my obeisances to you again and again and again. The Prachetas also, when they come out of the water, they say, we cannot perceive you by material senses, and even Lord Brahma, no one can really understand you, so I just offer you obeisances again and again. There's a really charming pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is in Adi 17:114. There's an astrologer who tries to calculate the past lives of Lord Chaitanya. Right? You familiar with this story? So the astrologer, he's meditating on his deity of Gopal, and he's trying to understand Mahaprabhu's previous lives. And he starts seeing all the incarnations. He starts seeing Matsya, and then he's like, what am I seeing? And then, let me try again. And again, he meditates on his deity and looks at the astrology, and he sees Kurma, and let me try again, and he keeps seeing all the incarnations. And finally, he just says the nice prayer. He says, Ye hao, say how to me, tomake namaskara. He says, whatever you may be, whoever you may be, I just offer you my respectful obeisances. I really like this. He says, whatever you are, whoever you are, I just offer my obeisances. Of course, Lord Chaitanya says to him, he says, I actually know my past life. He said, in my past life, I took care of cows. And because of that, I have got the piety to take birth in a Brahmana family. Mahaprabhu also says something very similar in joking to Advaita Acharya. He says, whoever you are, whatever you are, I offer my obeisances unto you. So going on now to Nectar Devotion, chapter 46, which is the second wave of the Northern Ocean, the discussion of Advaita Rasa. And I feel that this is also very relevant for us, something that we can incorporate into our sadhana on a regular basis. And he talks about that the different ways of experiencing this wonder, this Advaita Rasa. So the first way is that which is direct. You see something, you hear something, you taste something, you smell something in relationship to Krishna, and you get this wow, this astonishment. And the example he gives is, Oh Yasoda, see here your little son with the moon-like face slightly smelling of milk. In other words, he's still very little. And see here Govardhan, whose summit pierces the clouds. See, with his left hand he holds the king of mountains, as if it were just play. Is this some magic? So this is a devotee actually seeing Krishna doing something wonderful and feeling this love mixed with wonder. So the next category, and we're going to look at each of these for ourselves. The next category is hearing about Krishna's superhuman acts, and this certainly very much applies to our own life. Example, Krishna with only 3 arrows cut down all the arrows fired by 11 Akshohini of troops under Narakasura. When Parikshit heard of the prowess of Krishna in battle, his eyes opened wide. That's the anubhava for this rasa. And his hairs stood on end. Now, this next one is also really nice. This is something I regularly experience, and I think all of us regularly experience. This is where we feel wonder by speaking about Krishna, when we're talking about Krishna. And now we're going to return to when Lord Brahma stole the calves and the boys. And now he's gone back to his abode. And he's speaking to the residents in Brahmaloka. And he says, all the boys and the calves have 4 arms. They were dark in complexion like clouds and wore yellow cloth. See, speaking in this way, I have lost control and become stunned. I will tell you something astonishing. Please listen. Each of the masters of the universes were on lotus seats. Each of the masters of the universes on lotus seats, all the Lord Brahmas were praising every one of these 4 arm forms. So Lord Brahma saw that each Vishnu form was praised by all living entities, including a Lord Brahma sitting on a lotus seat. And just talking about this to his associates, he felt great wonder. Now this is another one that I think all of us experience so often in our lives. This is by inference. Example, when all the children opened their eyes, they were astonished to see in front of them the incomparable banyan tree called Bandira, and that they and all the cows had been rescued from the forest fire. So in this pastime, the cowherd boys Balaram had just killed Pralambasura, and Pralambasura had carried Balaram across the Yamuna to Bandiravan. And there, everybody followed. All the cowherd boys followed, and there were cows, goats, and buffalo that they were herding, and they all crossed the Yamuna, and they were all at Bandiravan. And because that's where they ended up, they decided to play there. So there's a lot of banyan trees there. They were climbing the banyan trees, and they were playing. And while the cowherd boys were so involved in playing, their animals wandered off. That's what animals do. Actually, the acharyas were critical of the animals, that they didn't just stay where Krishna was. They were looking for green grass someplace else. That sometimes we do that. We don't just hang around Krishna. We look for green grass someplace else. So they're following. They actually crossed the Yamuna. and they go to the ISKCON, I think it's called, forest. And there they got stuck in some sharp canes. They couldn't move properly. And then a forest fire started, and they were crying for Krishna. Meanwhile, back in Bandiravan, the cowherd boys all of a sudden notice, our animals are gone. And this is our responsibility. Right? We have some, oh no. Right? Has that ever happened to you? You're absorbed in something and like, oops, I was supposed to have a call and I'm late. Right? Does that ever happen to you? Right? You're absorbed in some service. You're like, oops, I have something I'm supposed to do. And then like the animals have wandered away, so they follow the tracks of the animals. And they come to the place where there's the forest fire, and they hear the animals calling. They call to the animals. And then they're all surrounded. A wind comes up. They're all surrounded by the fire. And then Krishna says to them, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Krishna doesn't always let us see what he's doing, right? He says, close your eyes. Krishna swallows the fire. Our acharyas explained that Krishna was enjoying it like a nice, cooling beverage. Or, sometimes people like to eat very spicy food. So I guess Krishna, when he likes to eat spicy food, is really spicy. So he's swallowing this fire. And when the boys open their eyes, they're back to where they started. All the boys, all the animals, poof, they're back in Bandiravan as if none of this had ever happened. So then it was by inference. They're like, I think our friend Krishna did something. I think he did something special. That's how we ended up here. So this is certainly something we always experience. So I want to look at this cultivating our sense of astonishment and wonder. So we have the first category of direct perception. So I was thinking, at least ordinary sadhakas like me, I don't normally see Krishna's pastimes happening directly, so that's going to be a little difficult. But I thought there is a direct perception of prasadam, right? And Mahaprabhu says, what is this food? It's ordinary ingredients, but it has a taste beyond the ordinary ingredients. Now, maybe we don't experience that every time we eat prasadam, but we've all experienced that, correct? Have we all experienced that? I remember the first time the devotees gave me a sandesh, and I was bringing it to work with me, and when I ate it, I was like, what is this? What is this? And I had already been a chef at Marriott hotels. I came back to the temple, and I'm like, what's in this? And they said, milk and sugar. And I'm like, nah. And they said, well, a little lemon. I said, nah, it's not going to be that. So there's this extraordinary flavor. I like to tell the story of in Puerto Rico, or as they say, Puerto Rico, where I was at a college preaching program, and we were distributing cookies made by Kamagiri. And I had been in the kitchen. I used to cook the main meal for the devotees every morning. So I saw her make the cookies, and it was just simple. It was just like butter, sugar, flour, baking powder, that was it. It was the simplest recipe you could do and still get a cookie. And I was answering questions, so I didn't get to taste any. But I had at least 20 or 30 of the 120 participants came up to me afterwards and said, what's the recipe? And I thought if I told them, they'd be very disappointed. So we certainly have this experience with direct perception of prasadam. We have this with direct perception of seeing the deities, yes? Again, maybe not always. Maybe sometimes we just come in the temple room, offer obeisances. Oh yeah, there's Radha, and then we walk away. But sometimes we're seeing the deities and we're just, these are not marble statues. This is wonderful. This is amazing. What an incredible experience. And of course we can perceive wonder in Krishna's creation. Krishna says in 1036, of the splendid, I am the splendor. That Krishna is this wow factor. Anything we find splendid, right? What does he say in 1042? Know that all opulent, beautiful, glorious creations spring but a spark of my splendor. So whenever we feel any wow about anything, the trees, the flowers, the insects, the birds, anything in the creation, that wow we feel is just a tiny, if you took the whole universe together, it's just a spark of the wow in Krishna. And in 15:12, Krishna says, the splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire. The glory of the sunrise and sunset, when we look at it, we go, wow, which the Bhagavatam says is the movements of Krishna's garments going through the sky. The splendor of the sky at full moon, the beautiful splendor of the moon. And we all like to look at the splendor of fire, right? The dancing fire. That's Krishna. And we can get this sense of wonder. Then hearing about. So hearing about the pastimes, are we hearing about the pastimes just, okay, I've done my daily duty of pastime hearing. I've read my number of pages and done my duty, check off the list, okay. I've heard. But to hear with a sense of wonder, wow, Krishna's lifting Govardhan Hill, Krishna's swallowing the fire, Krishna's jumping from the top of the mountain, a total of 88 miles. Krishna's subduing 7 bulls all at once. I mean, all these pastimes that can fill us with wonder, the descriptions of Krishna's form. So one devotee was saying how amazing that when Mother Yasoda is tying up Krishna, that Krishna's exhibiting a form that's simultaneously limited and unlimited. At once, in the same form, right there. What a sense of wonder. Description of Krishna's qualities, which Srila Rupa Goswami gives this whole list of 64 qualities and then more qualities, which are meant, again, to invoke this sense of wonder. Then speaking about Krishna. When we talk about Krishna, we often Krishna reveals to us things about himself that we didn't even know while we're speaking about him, yes? I think we all have this experience. We're talking about Krishna, and we get filled with some wonder and some exaltation that we didn't even know was there just by speaking about him. And then inference. Do we see Krishna working in our lives? Sometimes we'll think, oh, it'd be really nice to have such and such, and then there it is. Right? Everyone's experiences? You know? Like the second day that I was staying full-time in the ashram, and I went on Harinam, and I'm like, oh, if I'm going to do this regularly, I'm going to need different kinds of shoes, and my feet are very hard to find. They're tiny and wide. And I came back to the temple, and there was a pair of shoes that perfectly fit me, and it was perfect for Harinam. I'm like, how did this happen? Must be Krishna. And we have this sort of experience all the time. So this is something we want to cultivate, not to go through life like a stone. I'm just kind of going through life. But through direct experience, through hearing about, through speaking about, and through inference, to somehow cultivate this sense of wonder, which is the essence, as Srila Jiva Goswami is quoting. It's the essence of all rasa. It's the essence of all relationship with Krishna. And this is ever expanding. So even the pure devotees who, quote unquote, know everything, they're constantly expanding in wonder. And by the way, Krishna is also, because he's Akila Rasamrita Murti, he's the personification of all rasas, he's also always overwhelmed by wonder at himself and by his own creation. Like it says in the 10th canto, he looks at Vraja and he's like, oh, wow, look at my pastimes in Vrindavan, look at my form. And he's always filled with wonder at his devotees. Mahaprabhu is sitting with Gadadhar Pandit reading about Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj, and he's also filled with this loving astonishment and wonder. So questions, comments, additions, subtractions? Oh, Jistapu was saying how unfortunate the Mayavadis are going through life like a stone. Yeah. All this stuff about Krishna's form, it's all Maya. Krishna's pastimes are all Maya. Yeah. Very unfortunate. Very dry. Such a dry. Which is why they have to come back to try to have some chewing the chewed material rasa. Because it's so dry. Anything else? Yes, Maharaj.
Can you give me the exact citation where you do this?
Yes. It's 4-12 in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I can also send that to you. Sure. It's his commentary. He's quoting the Sahita Darpana. I can also just give you my papers at the end of the class. Anybody else? Yes, Prabhu. Mm.
So here, all these great devotees like Narada Muni, Rupa Goswami, we talk about the Lord Brahma, they are those personalities, but still the greatness becomes when the great who understands and still wonders, that is where his excellence happening. Because it becomes dismissed, he's bewildered, because the same thing, if a noble lineage with great knowledge and praises as inconceivable some other noble lineage has done, then it becomes very excellent, meaningful. Because in knowledge that person knows, but if somebody no knowledge, then I think there is a difference.
Mm.
Because this person doesn't know anything, so if he or she praises, then it is not
Mm.
significant. So we must understand that's how I see Narada Muni. He's wondering, everything, because Krishna has been given that knowledge. Krishna said, you know everything. You surrender, you know everything.
So I think just to repeat for the people online, and just if I can tell me if I'm getting this right. So I think what you're saying, Krishna is giving these people like Narada, like Lord Brahma, right, all this knowledge, and they're like noble laureates. They know everything, and even they are in wonder that we might discount if some ordinary, uneducated, foolish person was like, oh, it's wonderful. But when these great personalities are saying that, then am I getting this right, what you were saying? Yes. How wonderful it must be. Very nice. Yes, Maharaj.
There's also the instance where Krishna saw a reflection of himself in water, and he was wondering, who's this?
Oh, so Maharaj is saying how Krishna saw a reflection of himself in water, and he was saying, who is this wonderful person? This is a wonderful, attractive person. Yes. Thank you very much. How blessed we are by Srila Prabhupada. How blessed we are by Srila Prabhupada. How blessed we are by Srila Prabhupada.
From the Bhakti Rasa we just seen was really nice.
Oh, thank you.
You did your homework and it's really good.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindanalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam.
Hum Bhajamim. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacha Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschachane Saturne. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadada Sivasari Gaurabhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Nirana Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadada Sivasari Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Nirana Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadada Sivasari Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Goloka Rate. Hey, Radhe, 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 Radhe. Shri Radhe, Jai Om. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Radha Govinda Sanam Mandala Kunda Hiri Gaura Vrindavan Jai
Chaitadarpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jiva. Like spectacular. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Smarane Nakala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjanina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tororapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripayata Vapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nayanam Galashu Daraya Varanam Gad Gadurudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahaneba Vishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Bravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyava Padamritam Adarshanam Marmahatakarotuva Yatatatava Vidadatulam Mat Prananatastusa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, When will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.